All right, so traveling is a big part of our life. We greatly enjoy seeing other cultures, history, and that kind of thing. But to do that, it's going to cost you some money, right? Your hard earned money.
Absolutely.
And so, what we want to cover today is some tips around your finances and how you can better enable yourself to enjoy your vacations. This is Daryl
And Aaron
on
on
Travel
Travel
with
with
D&E.
D&E.
Let's get started now. All right, so first off, what should we do?
Set a trip budget.
Right, so we got to know how much money we got to, or how much money we have available to spend on our trip. So, what we typically do, and Aaron does a real good job of this, is put together a spreadsheet and just kind of laying out all the estimated or proposed costs that would be. That way, we have a good ballpark of what we want to spend. And that's your first start, kind of looking around, doing your research, identifying the potential cost, and knowing what you got to spend to do what you want to do.
That is definitely the first step you need to do. Kind of get a ballpark, like you said, a ballpark or estimated amount that you'll spend.
Again, a lot of times it's not the cost you know about; it's those hidden costs, right? We'll kind of cover that here in a little bit more. But so what you want to do is, and what we kind of do is, we create a travel fund. So let's say you work a couple hours overtime, take that cash, put it in your travel fund. You already got your bills paid.
Right.
So within your budget, you're not only budgeting for the actual trip itself, but think about what you can do from an overall budget and putting money aside for your travel fund.
Right. So if you don't trust yourself and you're like me in the past, you have good intentions to put that money aside and you just don't ever get to it, you can set an automatic account where the bank transfers some funds that you come up with to an account.
Yeah, and let's say like you can set up to where it'll transfer, I don't know, $25, whatever, $50,
A paycheck or
a paycheck or a month, that automatically does it regardless of your bills.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to watch it, but the point is, when we have bills hitting, and as the costs go up, utilities, gasoline, everything comes up, you got to pay them bills, and a lot of times you just don't have room for that travel fund, right?
Right.
But if you go ahead and take that money, automatically transfer it over, you're going to build up some vacation fund or trip fund without having to do too much of work, right?
Right.
Um, it's a conscious decision to try to create opportunities to enjoy each other, you and your significant others, and make memories. And to do that, sometimes you gotta put together an automation plan to where you don't have to worry about it.
Right. And it forces you to think monthly. You want to go on that trip. You're looking forward to it, and so it forces you to watch your other spending during the month because it's going to be transferred over there automatically for you.
Yep. Now the next thing is you can notify your bank. So if you ever been on different travels, and let's say you're in a state you're not used to being in, and you go to fill up your truck with gas or whatever the case may be, sometimes your card gets declined. And there's money in your credit card or in your debit, checking fund.
Yeah.
But the point is, the bank doesn't know. They don't think that that's you because you're in some area you've never ever charged in.
Right.
So if you're in Florida, let's say, or you're going to be in Florida, what you want to do is go ahead and just contact your customer service at your bank.
Mm-hmm.
Just let them know for the next 2 weeks, if I have transactions in this general area, please go ahead and confirm them. And so they can put it in the notes. And if they cancel or reject a purchase, they can go look at the notes. You can call them back. Hey, I need this to work through. Sometimes it'll send a notice on your phone. But that's important to let your bank know, again, you'll be in these different areas.
Great tip. Also, it's a great idea to pay your bills before you go on your trip, or at least schedule them to be paid while you're on your trip.
Yeah, obviously paying bills is a good thing anytime. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to be gone for an extended trip, a couple of weeks or even up to a month, you may have bills that are going to be due while you're gone. Mm-hmm. And so if you have the money, go ahead up front, pay those bills. That way you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to go check your checking account and all that stuff 3 weeks into your trip because you're just worried you forgot to pay that bill. So take care of it now and prepay it if you need to give you that ease of mind.
Yeah, it would really not be a good thing if you didn't pay your bills and you come back and your electricity or water have been
Or
turned
both.
off.
Yeah, if you have your electricity and water turned off, it kind of sucks when you get home.
So make sure those bills are paid.
Tenfold. All right, and if you intend, or even if you don't intend to use your credit card, let's say you got your Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card, you're gonna want to have that availability while you're on your trip to take care of any emergencies or things you don't have planned. So what you want to make sure is your credit limit, you have enough room that you can go ahead and use your card in the event of an emergency, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And also bring some cash. Whether you're in the U.S. or abroad, just check with the different countries. But I mean, cash, especially when we go on a cruise and travel, we haven't come into where we had to exchange money. So most areas still do take American cash. And
Well, especially cruise areas when in the Caribbean and things of that nature. Yes.
So sometimes the American dollar goes a long way, even in other countries.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of those, again, Caribbean countries, Central America, they will take your U.S. dollars. They would rather have that than pesos or whatever the case may be, because the U.S. dollar just goes so much farther for them in their country.
Right, and it's always good to have cash on you, because during your travels, if you do any tours or anything, make sure you have gratuities for the tour guides,
The bus drivers, and even if you're pulling up at a hotel over in South Carolina, if you're going to have somebody help you get your bags brought up, your concierge or whatever, you want to tip them too. So it's not just when you're on a cruise trip. It's not just when you're overseas. Anytime you're out, it's worth it to go ahead and tip those in the service industry. That's what makes their job a little bit more fulfilled, and it's important to do that. And around currency exchange, depending upon what country you may be going to, you may need to upfront go ahead and do some get some of the local currency. Again, in the Caribbean, Central America, there's not a real big need for that. Nevertheless, you want to go ahead and understand what that conversion rate is.
Right. Do your research.
Do your research, and if you got to go ahead and get some ahead of time, you can do that. Otherwise, when you're in that foreign country and you're making a purchase, again, be aware of the kind of currency exchange rate, because you want to make sure. I mean, depending upon, you don't know, they may mess up on the calculator. They may intentionally mess up and overcharge you.
Right.
And if you just don't know, you just don't know. So be in the know and make sure nobody takes advantage of you in those foreign countries when you make a purchase.
If you have an updated iPhone, I do know that the new calculator on the updated will give you the difference in the currency rates, and then there's some free apps you can download also. So when you're in a foreign country, you will know the exact rate, and that because you don't want to be overcharged or duped by anybody.
Yep.
You work hard for that money.
You want to pay the fair amount, but nothing more.
It's a good idea to bring a mix of cash and credit cards. Depending on what credit card you have, maybe a place of business doesn't carry that or doesn't take that particular credit card. Or maybe, like Daryl said, if something happens and all of a sudden it says denied on your credit card, you want to have that cash.
Or a backup card. You can
Right.
have more than one too.
So that's a great idea, kind of carrying a mix.
Yeah, so we actually have our Chase Sapphire travel card basically, and also have an American Express as a backup. It's just good, smart traveling business. All right, and there are some apps that do budget and expense tracking, even specifically for vacation or trips. And there's some different ones out there. We have not personally tried any of these out, so we can't really vouch for them. But if you're looking for something that can kind of help you track those costs, there are a couple different, there's a number of products. Some of them I think are, the Wanderlog, Travel Spend, and the old Trip Expense Manager. Again, if that's something you're looking for, take a look at them. One or some of them will be able to do what you probably need to do. We're going to review those in upcoming episodes, but at this point, we haven't ever used it. We actually create a spreadsheet ourselves. When
Mm-hmm.
Erin does a lot of the research, she creates a spreadsheet, and that's where we put all of our costs or estimated costs. And then at the end of the day, we come back like we on our cruise channel where we show our actual costs, being transparent about all that. So we just use our own spreadsheet, but some of these other apps probably work pretty good,
Yep, and
and we're going to look into.
seems to be an app for everything. And this is one occasion that they do have an app to help track your finances and spending while you're traveling.
Yep.
Okay, so you're traveling. You've got your spreadsheet going. You've plugged everything in, but you also have to budget for those unexpected expenses along the way. You're driving along, you think everything's good. You had your auto checked for, oil and tire pressure and everything, but you've hit a pothole and all of a sudden your tire busts. Or,
Yeah, your rim gets dented or something, or you're driving in the mountains and your brake overheats. There's any number of variations there, but the whole thing is it's unexpected. You're not going to bring enough cash to pay for that necessarily.
Mm-mm.
And look, it can be whether it's a vehicle, it can be you're getting sick, you have a virus, you may have some other condition that puts you in the hospital.
Yeah, somebody could be on a trail. Somebody trips over a root and
breaks their ankle or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be prepared, and that's what we talked about. Bring a mix of cash and credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring a debit card, but man, bring a credit card because the spending limits are going to be better for you. And especially in an emergency type of event, that credit card will help pay for what you need to get paid for. And then you just have to deal with it when you get back home, paying that back off. But unexpected things will happen. Don't assume it won't. Make sure you're prepared. Right, and around insurance, so that's another thing you got to think about. So you got your current medical insurance. And so depending upon where you're going, if you're going in the U.S., your insurance is probably going to work pretty good, right? But if you're going overseas, if you're going to another continent, you're going to South America, you're going to Asia, that same insurance is not going to work in the same way as it would if you're in your your local state and or in the North America or United States. So you got to look at what possibly you can get from a travel insurance or even a supplemental insurance from your vendor, right?
Right.
So you can go to like Blue Cross or Cigna, whoever that may be, and you can purchase a supplemental medical insurance policy for that particular trip. And again, travel insurance is another way to kind of protect yourselves in the event you get sick and you got to miss a flight.
That loss of luggage, cancellations.
Right. All this kind of thing. So again, it's kind of like that unexpected cost having your credit card. Make sure you're prepared to be able to respond within that from a travel insurance or from an insurance standpoint, travel or medical insurance, right?
And besides the supplemental and your own, there are third party
Correct.
that we're looking into, like Allianz, and there's some other ones too to check out, but they cover you for that one trip or annually. If you're a person who travels annually and does several trips, it might be beneficial, and they will ask you a bunch of questions and tailor make a policy for you. So you have different options with insurance.
Yep.
One way to help you save money is look at your loyalty programs.
Yep.
Like Daryl said, we do have a travel card that gives us several perks with points.
Chase Sapphire Reserve card. We'll put a link down below. And there's other cards that work well too. So.
Yep. Of course, there's hotel perks.
We have, like IHG, that's Holiday Inn and a number of other hotel lines. But, from a business travel standpoint, so I travel a lot with that using the IHG membership. And so I'm able to, with the points that I get, I'm able to use those points to get a free night or two or three, depending upon how much I'm traveling, using those points rather than having to pay cash, or pay for those rooms. So any opportunity you got to do that, whether it be even Delta,
the airline,
United, Southwest, they all have different programs. And there's some suggestion that there may be some programs that are going to change a little bit through different restrictions and that the government's putting in place. And but that's all to be seen for now. You still can leverage those memberships to loyalty programs to get some free travel. And it's not free, of course, you paid for it, but to use those points to get some to supplement your travel and your vacations. Now, definitely around financials, though, when we talk about that, you got to really understand the real cost. And we have a whole video on that around the cruise industry of what are the real costs. Because if you go online, if you look at the dollar, per night for the stateroom, that's only a very, I shouldn't say very small, but that's only a portion of the actual real cost you're going to see. Mm-hmm. And the same thing kind of applies if you kind of look, oh, okay, I can afford the hotel at $79.99 a night. Well, guess what? There's taxes. There's going to be some different fees from that city or whatever. So that's not your real cost. You might as well add 30-40% to it before you get to the end and actually pay for it.
Right.
So it's just kind of like getting around and understanding what those real costs are. When you put your budget together, you got to add a little bit to think about those different taxes and fees and things of that nature.
And of course, as you're traveling, you have to eat. So you have to consider those costs.
Eating's good. I enjoy eating.
Either on the road while you're getting to your destination and even when you're on your destination. So when you think about eating, it's not just while you're at your when you get to your destination, it's also including what trying to get there.
Yeah, I mean, even in an airport or a train terminal, that food's expensive, even though it's not always great. It's very expensive. Make sure you have that considered in your cost. And that's kind of important to know. And of course, if it's a road trip, gasoline, I don't know how it can keep going higher. Hopefully it's going to start lowering, get a little bit better, but gasoline's expensive. There's another way around it. Especially maybe if you're RVing, mm-hmm. Man, you're paying for a lot of gas for the less mileage per hour vehicle. So just make sure you got in there enough money to account for in your budget to account for your gasoline or diesel if you got a diesel truck or whatever the case may be.
And again, there are apps that can help you out. There's a Gas Buddy app.
Yeah, go ahead.
It'll you can pull up along your route and see where the best prices of gas is.
Yeah, it'll kind of tell you which exit to take and if you want to get to that gas station or truck stop or whatever.
Now we have on my phone, I have iExit. It will tell you all the stops along your route, where the gas is, how far off the interstate it is to get to it, and the prices. So look at the apps. Again, those are two right off the top of my head.
And we'll put a link down below to that one too as well.
And then Waze. If you plug in Waze, it will tell you the shortest and quickest way to go. It may get you off the interstate for a little bit and you think it's crazy, but we fought it and have not followed Waze before and regretted it.
Yeah, Waze is, it's up to date, real time. They're going to send you, I trust Waze, even though you're like, I can't go off the interstate right now, but a lot of the travel's been through. They've always come out on top. So just something to consider. Waze is a great way to help your travel journey in your road trips.
What you think is more direct isn't always direct. Like I said, learn to trust some of your apps that you have. They'll get you there quicker, and it will save you on time and gasoline.
And of course, they're not everywhere in the U.S., but if you're in the kind of, I guess, maybe the Gulf South, especially Texas and areas like that.
But they're expanding.
They're expanding every day. It seems like they're adding a new one. But good old Buc-ees. Again, if you've seen it or stopped by, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's one of the greatest inventions of modern day travel. You can go there, you can get gas, you can get beef jerky, you can get barbecue, you can get anything you can think of in the clean restrooms as well. So it's Buc-ees are really cool. If you get the opportunity to drop by there, it'll be fun anyhow. You'll spend money though.
Oh, and it's a convenience store. It's a quick, like you said, the food, you can either order it on a kiosk and have it freshly made, or they have all the sandwiches already made, sodas, water, snacks, and all that. But it's also a retail, and they kind of do it to whatever state they're at, but full retail, clothes, accessories, kitchenware, you name it, they have it.
Anyhow, so that's a good place to stop. They do pretty good fuel prices and stuff like that. So let's face it, you can't travel and have fun without spending money. It's just the way it is. So be smart about our finances. Set budgets, set budget limits, understand all your hidden costs, and that'll get you prepared to go on your next trip to make memories with family and friends. And that's truly what's important in our lives is making memories with our family and friends and our significant others.
Yeah. And as you know, we talk about at the end of our videos. These are the things that we've come upon that we've learned real life, but I'm sure there's many more. If you have any more tips or suggestions, please leave it down in the comments. Not only do we enjoy reading our comments and learning from them, but our travel with D&E community sure do enjoy it too.
Amen. So hopefully, like I said, these tips and pointers will help you out around the financial side of your traveling. Hey, and make sure you give a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss any of this future content and the existing content. So thanks for watching, and as always, we will see you in the next video.